The lightning speed that companies can react and ditch people that they work with because they tweeted something or said something they disagree with is hilarious. But it takes them ages to respond to things like Balenciaga. So for those who aren't aware, Balenciaga kicked off with an advert featuring a teddy bear wearing bondage gear being held by a child. I'm going to explain why you should not believe anything that anybody says whenever a company does something like this and comes under fire rightfully. Do not be gaslit into any apologies that companies give for their policies. Marketing and advertising campaigns take an enormous amount of planning and decision making in order to get from concept to product. They have carefully laid out sets which all need to be signed off on. You have to think that parents were there to watch their kids with these photo shoots, along with many adults being present, and not one person looked at this at any point and thought, yeah, this isn't wrong or bad. Teddy bear with bondage gear being held by a child. Nothing sus there. Move along. But this wasn't the only thing. So this was an advert featuring an office with a woman with her legs up on a table. In the background there was a reference to the Supreme Court case on child porn printed out and propped up on an advert showcasing a $3,000 purse. The court case was United States versus Williams. The ruling held up the constitutionality of convicting people spreading child porn, ruling that it wasn't free speech. Based United States Supreme Court. Again, why was that there? But there's more. There was a book in the background by Michael Borman, a man who wrote Fire in the Sun, which features naked children as artwork. Once again, this had to be signed off. You're not going to convince me that this was just accidental, it just happened to be put there. On the 24th of November, Balenciaga issued an official apology. They said, "We sincerely apologise for any offence our holiday campaign may have caused. Our plush bear bags should not have been featured with children in this campaign." Holiday campaign. We only detected it after a massive outcry over sexualisation of children, but moving on. On the 28th of November, they did another apology. "We would like to address the controversies surrounding our recent ad campaigns. We strongly condemn child abuse. It was never our intent to include this in our narrative." What narrative? What narrative were you trying to portray? And on the 2nd of December, they did a third one. Only this time, it was the CEO. "I want to personally apologise for the wrong artistic choice of concept for the gifting campaign with the kids." Artistic choice. Bondage bear of kids. It's just art, bro. This carries on. People started digging and they found this. Another ad by Balenciaga. Just a kid with a picture of a devil drawing behind him. Again, this had to be approved. There's this black hooded thing on the floor, supposedly symbolic of Satanism of some kind. Before the atheist cringe laws chime in, I'm not a religious person. Also on the floor is a roll of tape with Balenciaga on it, but it's spelt with 2 A's. For those who don't know their mythology, Baal is a reference to the Canaanite god of child sacrifice. Again, I asked the question, why would you spell your own name wrong? Is that like a dog whistle to Satan worshippers or something? There was also this at a fashion show of some kind. A Balenciaga bag with a fake dead baby with blood on it. Some kind of bloody towel. I mean, what? What the hell is this? We're still not done yet, guys. There's still more. Balenciaga has decided to pin the blame on Nicholas Dejarins. I think I just butchered his name, but he was the set designer. They've decided to push the blame onto him, and now they're trying to sue him. Let's have a look at some of the man's work, shall we? I'm getting suffering, miserable, weird, depressing, perverse, hideous. The list goes on. As I said, they've pinned the blame on him and they're trying to cover their own asses. But the icing on the cake, Balenciaga's parent company is called Kering. They also own brands like Gucci and Alexander McQueen. The CEO of Balenciaga's parent company, he sells child sex mannequins. I cannot show the pictures on here because I will get shut down instantly. But they are disturbing at least, and disgusting at worst. So that's your warning if you want to go and look them up. I would like to include them just to get my point across to people, but I just can't. But they are absolutely sickening, and they're extremely expensive as well. Some of them are tens of thousands of pounds. I think there was one on there that was £91,000. So that's what these are going on sale for. Who's buying things like this? Who's auctioning them? Suddenly, when you look at all of this, the bondage bears and that Supreme Court document against CP, they're not accidents. Again, this is the guy who owns the company that owns Balenciaga and also owns Gucci, Alexander McQueen and a bunch of others. Do not let this be forgotten. Do not let it get brushed under the carpet. Do not let this disturbing stuff go down the memory hole. There should be a mass boycott of all of these brands and they should all be shut down, frankly. I don't care how much you like Gucci or how much you like Balenciaga. It wouldn't surprise me if the CEO is connected to Mr. Epstein, who definitely killed himself. The CEO of Kering, I cannot pronounce his name. Balenciaga's parent company owns a site that sells child sex mannequins with erect penises on their face. Evie magazine does a fantastic job covering this, and it still baffles me that Kim Kardashian took as long as she did to disavow this. You want to talk about social justice? Wood chipper for nonsense. I reiterate my point one last time. Nothing in any large company gets to go out without being signed off by the company. They knew what they were doing. In the same way that PayPal knew what they were doing with their $2,500 fine for misinformation.